In the heart of the enchanted world of Eldoria, where fairies glided through the air like shimmering stars, two great fairy clans ruled over separate territories. The Etherians, the fairies of the sky, resided in floating citadels made of crystal and light. Their wings, iridescent and feathered, shimmered like the dawn. The Nocturnals, the fairies of the night, thrived in the dark forests below, their bat-like wings sleek and powerful, their magic woven from moonlight and shadows. For centuries, the two clans had been at odds. A long-forgotten war had turned them into bitter rivals, and an ancient decree had been passed by both ruling councils: no fairy shall love another of its kind. The elders feared that love between fairies would weaken their clans, making them vulnerable to outsiders. Fairy magic, they believed, was strongest when love was given only to the humans they watched over. Aveline, a proud warrior of the Etherians, was known for her unmatched speed and grace in battle. With her radiant wings and golden hair that caught the sun, she was admired by all but bound by the rigid rules of her people. Seraphine, a nocturnal healer, was equally renowned for her beauty, her jet-black hair cascading like flowing ink, her violet eyes glowing softly in the dark. She was a fairy of compassion, known for saving wounded creatures and tending to the sick. They had never met, their worlds never intertwined, until fate decided otherwise. One evening, Aveline was patrolling the borders of Etherian land when she sensed a presence near the Forbidden Region, a vast meadow known as the Twilight Vale, where neither clan dared to tread. Curiosity and instinct drove her forward. She soared through the sky, her wings cutting through the crisp air, and landed silently among the whispering grasses. There, by the edge of a moonlit pond, she saw her. Seraphine stood by the water, dipping her fingers into its surface, sending ripples through the reflection of the silver moon. She was alone, lost in thought. Her presence in neutral territory meant she was either reckless or seeking something beyond her clan's rigid laws. Aveline should have left, she should have reported the trespasser. But she didn't. Instead, she stepped forward. The moment their eyes met, an unspoken connection ignited between them. "Are you lost?" Aveline asked, her voice steady yet filled with an unfamiliar warmth. Seraphine tilted her head, studying the Etherian warrior with intrigue. "No," she replied, I'm exactly where I need to be." They spoke cautiously at first, as if testing the limits of what they were allowed to feel. But as the night stretched on, caution faded, replaced by something else, something dangerous and exhilarating. They spoke of their lives, their dreams, and the burdens placed upon them by their clans. Before parting, Seraphine hesitated, then plucked a night-blooming flower from the ground. She handed it to Aveline, her fingers brushing against hers. "For luck," she whispered. Aveline accepted it, knowing deep in her heart that this meeting was not the last. Night after night, Aveline and Seraphine met in secret at the Twilight Vale. Their conversations grew deeper, their laughter more frequent. What had started as curiosity blossomed into something neither of them could control: love. Aveline found herself longing for the way Seraphine's voice softened when she spoke of the creatures she healed. Seraphine found herself captivated by the way Aveline's eyes burned with fierce determination. They were different, yet in those stolen moments, they were the same. But the laws of their realm loomed over them like a silent curse. One evening, as they sat beneath the glow of fireflies, Aveline took Seraphine's hand. "Do you think love is truly a weakness?" she asked. Seraphine shook her head. "No, I think it's the only magic that can change the world." But changing the world came with a price. Unbeknownst to them, their secret meetings had not gone unnoticed. Etherian scouts had begun tracking Aveline's movements, suspicious of her frequent disappearances. The Nocturnals, too, had sensed that Seraphine was keeping a secret. And in a realm where fairy love was forbidden, secrets never remained hidden for long. One fateful night, as Aveline and Seraphine stood in the meadow, an ambush was sprung. Warriors from both clans surrounded them, their eyes burning with betrayal and fury. The fairy elders were summoned, and the two lovers were brought before the High Council of Eldoria. Their crime was clear: they had broken the sacred decree. The punishment: banishment from their clans forever. Aveline's father, a high-ranking Etherian general, stepped forward. "You have disgraced your people," he said coldly. Seraphine's mother, a revered nocturnal priestess, shook her head. "You have chosen a path that leads only to ruin." The ruling was final. They were to be stripped of their wings and cast out into the human world, never to return to Eldoria. The night before their sentence was carried out, Aveline and Seraphine sat together in the dim light of their prison chamber. "Would you do it all again?" Aveline whispered. Seraphine smiled, her violet eyes filled with unbreakable love. 1,000 times over. On the morning of their exile, as the council gathered to carry out the punishment, a sudden explosion of golden light shattered the air. The ground trembled as an unseen force swept through the hall. It was the magic of the forgotten fairies, the spirits of ancient lovers who had suffered the same fate. Their presence sent waves of energy rippling through Eldoria, and in that moment, something extraordinary happened. Aveline and Seraphine's wings did not wither. Instead, they grew stronger, their colors more vibrant than ever. The power of their love had awakened something ancient, something beyond the reach of laws. Before the elders could react, the two lovers took flight, soaring into the sky, past the barriers of their realm, beyond the limits of their world. They were no longer just ethereal or nocturnal. They were something new. Legends say that Aveline and Seraphine created a new land, where fairies of all kinds could love freely, where no laws dictated the heart. It became known as the realm of Everlight, a place where love was not forbidden but celebrated. And so, the decree that had once divided Eldoria crumbled, replaced by a new truth: love does not weaken magic. It is magic. From that day forward, Fairykind was forever changed, thanks to the two fairies who dared to love against all odds.